couple of weeks ago, or actually at this point, it's probably closer to 3 or 4 weeks ago, I mentioned that I had finally filed some FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests, with a bunch of different government agencies asking for my file. So this was something that we read about a lot of people doing, and a lot of people were getting letters back saying, we're not going to give you any information. And by the way, any information we obtain secretly is secret, and therefore we don't even need to tell you that we have it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to send in some FOIA requests. Let's see what I get. They've started rolling in, and I thought we would go through them now, Lewis. I have 3 envelopes here. One is from the FBI. One is from the Department of Defense, Defense Intelligence Agency, who I also asked for my file from. And another one is from the Department of Justice, U.S. Marshals Service, which presumably would have information about me related to possibly flying or whatever the case may be. Let's start with the Department of Justice letter. I glanced at these quickly, but we'll take a look at them in more detail now, if I may, Lewis. And
please, yeah, be my guest.
So let's see. This is from the U.S. Marshals. Dear requester, the U.S. Marshal Service is responding to your request for any records in our agency's files relating to you. Pursuant to your request, we conducted a search of our records. Okay, this doesn't even make grammatical sense. The USMS conducted a search of records, our Justice Detainee Information System. I guess they mean in our Justice Detainee Information System, and located no records indexed to your name. There's another paragraph which says, for your information, Congress excluded 3 categories of law enforcement and national security records from the requirements of FOIA, and it tells me where I can look for that. This is a standard notification and should not be taken as an indication that excluded records do or do not exist. So nothing from the U.S. Marshal Service. They're notifying me, by the way, there are some records that if they existed would be exempt from us telling you, but that doesn't mean that those exist. That's letter number 1. Your reaction, Lewis?
No surprise there at all. I'm sure that is exactly the point of getting rid of all of those, omitting all of those records from what they can search.
Next, the Department of Defense, Defense Intelligence Agency. I submitted a request to them. Let's see what they say. Dated July 23rd. Dear Mr. Pakman, this responds to your request under the Privacy Act and Freedom of Information Act, dated July 8th. Therein, you requested copies of all files, correspondence, or other records concerning yourself. Based on the information contained in your request, the Defense Intelligence Agency searched its system of records for any responsive documents. Despite a thorough search, no documents responsive to your request were found, and it tells me that I can appeal this. Now, something very interesting about this is that the envelope has, interestingly enough, under the flap, okay? So somebody wrote this on the envelope before sealing it. So you actually have to lift up the flap. There's like a file number in there. And I can only assume, Lewis, that if I did not have a file prior to requesting these documents, I probably now do.
Maybe. I don't know if it makes sense for them to keep track of all the people making these requests, but I guess considering everything else, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And then lastly, this is from the FBI. This is the one that some consider to be kind of like the big one. I will take that out of the envelope. Let's take a look here. From the Federal Bureau of Investigation to Mr. David Pakman. Okay, this one is not even a letter. It's just a list of stuff, and they check off the boxes that apply to what they want to tell me. And they've said, we have received your request. We're searching the indices to our central record system. Please check the status of your request online. I did that this morning, and it is still pending as of right now. So I guess this was not really as productive as I would have hoped. I don't know if I should be happy that there are no files on me or concerned that I'm being told there are no files on me, and I will never really know. I'm not sure what should be my point of view here.
Well, you have to look at this from the point of view of the government. Would you want to be bothered by all these people sending you requests for information that you never wanted to tell them in the first place? I mean, it seems like this is just something, it just seems fake. It's just not real. No one can achieve anything by asking for these requests.
Well, listen, so when there are different investigations and you do FOIA requests involving local police departments, you actually do get information. But I kind of agree with you, Lewis, that this entire system seems completely adversarial. There are rules which say that certain types of information just doesn't fall under FOIA anyway. So I don't know if I should feel that this is anything more than a ruse to make people think they could access information about themselves when really anything the government wants can be shielded from actually having to tell you about it by these clauses that are mentioned here, which say, by the way, there's a bunch of information that we wouldn't have to tell you about anyway, even if it existed.
Right. It really does just seem like a PR stunt.
All right, I'll keep you posted about any more documents that I receive in the mail. There are, I think, 3 or 4 more agencies I contacted, including the CIA, and we'll see what I get back from them. I would not hold my breath for too much.